Hello everyone, thank you for watching my talk online. Here I'd like to talk about Open Build Service and the Debian packaging. And it's impressive how much time can save to do Debian packaging with your private OBS instance. And before my talk, I'd like to thank DebConf team to organize this nice online conference this year. And also I would like to thanks to Collabora encouraged me to package OBS into Debian project. And we use open source's Open Build service a lot at our work for many projects and for several years. In this talk, I'd like to share with you guys what is Open Build service. It can be called as OBS for short. I will give you an overview on how it can save time for packaging with your private OBS instance for the small project or different distributions, and explain that its benefit of using OBS, and then show that it's nice workflows and for the packaging and the releasing needs. And how to set up a project and the repository after OBS installed. And in the end, I will show you that the OBS workflow for Debian packaging. Let's have an overview and see that the classic packaging infrastructure way compared with OBS. Here is how the classic packaging infrastructure works. You have to build a binary package from a source package and then put it into the repository for your users to download. For example, here you provide the AMD64 Debian stretch package for your users. So anytime you fix the bug in your package or a new version of updated in your package, you just need to rebuild the package and in the clean chroot, and then publish the new binary package into repositories. And for the time being, you get more and more users, and also Debian Buster released. Then you would like to build your software and to support both Debian stretch and the Buster. So you just maintain two different chroot. And then you get build twice and then publish the binaries into the repository for your users to download. And then you get more requests from your users. You want to build to support more architectures. So now you get double the chroot. Like you have the two chroots for the AMD64, and you need another two for HF architecture. So you maintain 4 different clean chroots, and every time you update or you fix something, you get to build in the 4 different chroots and then publish the binaries into repository. Okay, now you have more users demand and once that you build your software on Ubuntu, so you enable the Ubuntu 2004, so you get 6 builds, and you get maintain 6 different clean chroot. So every time you have an update, you build it 6 times in different chroot, each of them, and then upload the binary packages. And then you get more and more users requests. You get enable more architectures, and you want to build more different distributions. So now you can imagine how many clean chroots that you need to prepare, and how many times to build all of them. And if one change failed on one of the chroots, then you have to go rebuild again. But you cannot detect them before you actually build it, each of them, and see that how it works. Just imagine that how many how can you manage those everything with this? It's become a mess. So let's see how we can solve the Macs. First of all, you need to have your Linux distribution running, like in somewhere in your private infrastructure or even on the cloud. And I choose Debian here. And then install OBS Debian packages, or fetch and build the OBS Docker images and then run it. And then it's done, because here you find how OBS saves us time. No matter how many different architectures or distributions, just one source upload of your package into OBS, and then OBS handle the rest for you. It's done. You don't need to keep and maintain the so many chroots on your machine anymore. Okay, we have an idea what is the OBS about, and let's have a look on the more detail of its benefits. OBS automatically use debootstrap to create a clean chroot for each distribution and the architecture, and then automatically build your package in the clean environment, so that ensure that the builds could be consistent and also in a reproducible way. So you won't have to deal all the chroots anymore and keep them on your machine by yourself, because OBS do this automatically for you. Here you can see, as I mentioned in the previous slide, this is an example. You can see there's only one source package, and then that builds on multiple different distributions and also the multiple architectures. It's not only the automatically built routines handled by OBS. OBS also provides a very nice workflow for packaging and releasing needs. Look at the screen here. Just imagine that if you have a production distro or product, you may have multiple different developers and to work parallelly on different issues of your product or distribution, and each of them are facing the different issues in different packages, and they may submit new package update with their fixes. Then if you have a QA team, then you can review and test it before it actually land into the production distributions. Once your package get reviewed, and that can learn it into the production distributions, and then the binary will be the build on OBS will be automatically published into repositories for your users to use. You don't have to do this by command manually anymore. And OBS also provide the VCS-like revision control for the source packages. So each time the source package get updated or get changed can be tracked in the history. OBS has nice features to calculate, and then calculate the build dependencies, so that they can schedule the source package to be built automatically. And also it's nice to show you they give you an overview of the numbers of the package that is already built successfully, or it failed, or it has missing build dependencies on the project page. So the unresolvable means that there is the missing build dependencies. We can click on the unresolvable link, and you get the very small window pop up and show you example what binary package is missing for the build dependencies. Then you can easily use this way to see that which binary package is missing. It's probably haven't been built, is in the scheduled build process, or is a missing package we should import the binary package. And OBS has also has a built-in access control list feature. So you may grant access to multiple different developers on different OBS projects on your OBS instance, so that you can also give them different access permissions, like who can submit changes, who can approve all the submitted package goes into the production repository. So everything you can just simply control here. And also you can hide the project, or you can other people cannot access the project. You can also do the everything with the built-in settings. Okay, after we introduce that the features, let's see a bit more on the OBS architecture and its components. Here is the architecture picture that I fetched from the OBS document. And basically, OBS architecture has a category like backend services, and the front-end Ruby on Rails app, and then also its command line tools. And the backend service contains multiple different service daemons running, and here that the build hosts are called OBS-worker, and it's also the Debian package name, and it can be installed on the extra different machine, or even like in a container on the cloud with different architectures. So you may flexibly connect the worker, OBS worker, into your OBS server, and then to empower the backend workers and when you need it. Let's look at the OBS front end. The OBS front end you can see on the picture here, and also that the previous web page with the nice OBS features in my previous slide. That is the Ruby on Rails app, and this is a Ruby on Rails app with the MySQL database. And then this package is in Debian. We call it OBS-API. This is the OBS front end, only one using databases. The backend doesn't use databases, but also only the front end. And also it has a command line tools, because all developers need lots of command line tools. So in Debian we have the OSC and then OSC-plugins -dput packages. Those two packages are available in Debian for the OBS command line tools. That users can use these tools in the terminal easily to interface, talk to the OBS API interface. So after I introduce those OBS components, that's for use. It's easier for you to do the install and set up the OBS packages. And most of people have the issues is that they, after they install the OBS and set up the OBS package and see the Ruby on Rails front end, but they do not really know how to use the OBS. So here I would like to explain you how to set up projects and how to set up a repository after your installation. OBS has the built-in download on demand support, and we can call it the DoD support. With these features that prevents you to mirror whole Debian distribution locally for your build dependencies. Just imagine that in the classic way, normally when you want to build a package or have an update, you have to update your clean chroot first, because you have to fetch the if it's a security update or updates or something in the chroot for the build dependencies in your chroot, and then start to build your package. So just imagine that how many chroots you have, then you have to do the routine several times. But with OBS, then you don't have to do this anymore, because this will be handled by OBS DoD features. And once the upstream has any changes or updates, then OBS is DoD is automatically fetched update. So if you want to have a package that build against to the new changes already updated in upstream, you can simply just click a rebuild on the web interface, or you can use a command line tool to rebuild, and then they will rebuild against to a new version of the build dependencies. And it can be this is configurable in the project meta page. Here is an example of those Debian DoDs that we have set up in and in use in our Collabora OBS instance. You can see that the DoD starts with a Debian name and a different version. Okay, to use the DoD on OBS, you need admin privileges so that you can add the OBS repository, and then config via meta and the project configure pages. Here is what we have configured via the meta page in Debian. And you can also see this is how we configure the via project config page in OBS. Then here we can specify the build engine. It uses the dbootstrap. To use DoD in your own project, you also need admin privileges in order to add the DoD into your project settings. Just click on the repository and click on add DoD repository, and then fill in the informations like a repository name, architecture, and type, and URL, and so on. Now you can have a DoD. So once you add that, you can see that the DoD status updated like this in this page. You can see that we have 4 different DoD added already right there. And once you have the DoD project created, now you have to create a normal project that contains the package you want to build. And the package you upload into the project, that package you build against to the DoD projects that you created previously. So user can create a new project under their home branch, and then if you want to create a new project on the main branch, then you still need the main privileges to create a project. Here is an example. I create a new project under my home branch. I just put that the project, you can see the project branch is home AD OBS-Debian, and then have a title and then description. And then once you have the project created, you just click on the repositories and then click on add repositories. And then also you need to fill in the information like this. Then you can put the project like you want to build against the two. So you should put the DoD project name here. Then you can, it depends on how many DoD projects that you created previously. You have to add the each by each and put the DoD project and also the repository name, and then selected architectures you want to build in this project. So here is an example that you have multiple repository that created and built against two different DoD projects and architectures. So that once you have this configuration in your project, package import into this project will automatically build against to those DoD repository and also the architecture you selected. Okay, OBS will build automatically, but sometimes you have multiple different distributions in your project configuration. Then you better add a different prefix to add that to the binary packages, so you can easily fetch that and also tells that the binary package is built for which distributions. And here is an example that we add Debian 8, Debian 9, and Debian 10 with the build count number. So now we have the project configured properly already, and let's see that the OBS workflow for Debian packaging. So developers always love the command line tools, so you can install OSC -plugins -dput package in Debian. So once you get that installed, you can use OSC dput command. I use this command to upload hello package into the project I created on OBS. You can see that the project I created in previous slides is a home ALI OBS-Debian project. So just OSC dput and the project name and then the source package. So here is a sample that when we use in the terminal, this the dput plugin will do similar syntax like a dput command to upload new package into OBS and just upload into the project with one command. Okay, once we import that, we need after that we need to modify, and then we need to update the packages. So you can use OSC command directly, and it's a VCS like command. So you can use that to check out, commit, however, with this nice tools. So here's a sample. I check out the hello package from home ALI OBS-Debian project. Here you can see that how OSC command works to check out the package in the terminal. And once it's checked out the package, we can switch into the package directory, and then we run the ls command. Now we can see the source package is right there, already checked out. And then we use the dpkg-source command to extract the source package. Now we can see that extracted the hello-2.9 directory is there. So let's switch into the directory. And we can see that this is source tree. You see that this is a Debian package right there. And then what we should do, we just modify and update the package as usual as that we do for a Debian package. And once you update and modify the package, however, don't forget to update the changelog so we can rebuild the source package. And here in my practice, I always add another local change suffix after the revision number, so that I use -l-co. I use this to add the co as a suffix. So after I edited the changelog entry and then saved, I can just regenerate the source package without the build dependency check, because I'm going to upload the source package into OBS and to build, so I do not need to install those build dependencies packages on my local machine. Here we can see that the new source package generated with the CO1 suffix get generated by there. And this OSC command is VCS like, so we should use the OSC rn command to remove the old source package. And then we can use OSC add command to add a new source package, which was that CO1 suffix that we just generated. And once we do this, and then we do a commit, we can use OSC CI command with the -m option to add the commit messages. Okay, once you've done this, you go back to the web front end. Then you can see that the new source package already committed by the command line tool, and then it appears on the OBS front end. You can see that it starts to build against to the multiple different versions of Debian, the repository we configured previously, and you can see the status right there. The status shows that building. Then you can just click on the building status. Then you can go to another page like this. Once you click on the status for building, then you will see the build log on the web front end. The web front end will keep updating the build log until it builds the result. So in the end, you can see that the build result on the web front end easily. Okay, package built successfully. Then you go back to the package page. Then you can have an overview of the build status on multiple repositories. Okay, now all the package builds on all the different distributions successfully. Okay, I will highly recommend that you use OSC help or main OSC to find the more powerful features of these command line tools. Okay, once you have the package built, then you can fetch the binary package from your home branch and do some testing. Then if the test has no problem, then you can submit your package into the main project. So you just click submit package on the web front end, then you will see a small window pop up like this. So you can create a submit request. Just fill in the target project, the main project location, and then add descriptions, and then submit. Once you submit, then you can see a line appears on the top of the web front end with the request created and also the request number. You may also click on the link of the request number. So just click it on, that will go into another page. Then you can see that the detail of the request. So you just scroll down, then you can see this is OBS building the review and accept features. And you can see that the button, you can decide if you want to accept these changes into your main production product or project, or revoke. It's because this ticket is created by myself, so it shows a revoke. If the request is not created by you, then you will see a decline instead of a revoke there. And also you can click on the project page. Then each project page, you can see that how many pending requests on the project page. If it's no request, you won't be display anything. But if you have many requests, they will display numbers on the project page. Okay, I already talk about OBS and then do OBS workflow with Debian packaging. So let's recap. Remember in this talk that you have an overview and you know that what's the OBS is about and what is it for you in this talk, and then why it can save a lot of time. And also now you know that the OBS architecture, if you want to install the Debian package to set that up. And also you know that how to configure the OBS project, and then DoD repositories, and also project settings and meta settings, and also add some suffix on the binary packages in the after you have the OBS instance running. And also you know that how to do the OBS workflow for Debian packaging in the talk. Okay, so let's go. I want before the Q&A, I would like to add the current status of OBS packaging in Debian. The OBS package is now only available on Debian Stretch, and it's because that the Ruby on Rails app front end has been too difficult to maintain in Debian, and because the upstream really needs some older or specific version of Ruby gems, which conflicts that exists packaging version in Debian, and then sometimes the Rails version are differently. That Debian only keep the one version in whole distribution, so it's difficult to do this. And also when we get some problem on our Debian OBS, then we forward that issue upstream. Then upstream will complain that we use completely different set of Ruby gems, which is not following their product. It's not by them, because like things looks like we fork their product into Debian, so they do not want to support. And the things that the upstream doesn't want to have LTS support in the OBS, so it's in this classic way, it's not good for maintain the packaging in Debian. So we may need help hands to packaging it differently for a long run. My idea was just based on the OpenSUSE's source RPN, because that the upstream has a special RPN with the older OBS gems bundles that they need to run OBS. And also sometimes they have a security fix and so on that they also update in the gems. So it would be nice if we can package a different way and based on this upstream's source RPN's bundles, so that we can have it's completely the same set of Ruby gems as a Ruby runtime for the web front end for the OBS. But I try to do this. Unfortunately, my Ruby skill is not good, so I got some issues to get the work. So I will need Ruby experts to help. If you have a skill, have time, or you have any better idea, yeah, please let me know as well. Thank you. My talk is ended here. Thank you for listening, and then let's do the Q&A sessions.
Thank you very much to Andrew for sharing this wonderful talk with us. Now let's go to the Q&A session. So the first question for you, Andrew, is: does one source package fit multiple distributions? How do you handle backports?
Okay, in our practice, when we want to do the one package for multiple distributions, sometimes that we need to ensure that the build dependencies that we can use to build these packages. So usually that we configure something in the Debian rules file to detect which one is the distribution that we are wanting to build. So we'll change that build dependency on the fly to build.
Okay, the next question. What is the relation between OBS packages and inserting them into Debian?
I think that OBS, as I mentioned, this is a nice tools, and you can have that as a private, your private infrastructure. So you can maintain the software collection, like you packaging something for the small project, or you have some software you need to have this kind of system to build and control the software quality to also support multiple distributions. So I don't think that is suitable to suit directly into Debian for the output, because that it just can help you to verify that your source package builds, and then you have to do the regular modification and then sign with your GPG and then upload into Debian. I think that is the proper way. But for OBS, it's like a private infrastructure you can do for your small software development or small project, or you have your own customized distributions. I think that's designed for.
Great. The next one, will not OBS repos be like PPA for Debian, providing less Debian control packages, not passing on the watchful eyes of Debian developers, and Debian rules will not be seen by security teams?
I think that the previous answer also fits here, because that the OBS is for your private infrastructure, and you can also host something like a PPA. But for Debian, I'm not sure if we have a team who want to do that, because that in the end of my talk, I also mentioned the problem of the open build service package status in Debian. I really need help hands to do, and also I think the packaging style needs to be changed.
Okay, the next question, are standard Debian users expect to be using OBS repos?
For users, I don't think that will be much difference, because that OBS builds the binary package and publish to a repository and generate the sources list and the package list file. So users can do apt update, apt get, install the packages. So for users, it should be the same.
Good. The next question, does OBS automatically rebuild reverse dependencies on upload? I wonder why a screenshot one of the slides shows so many packages needing to be rebuilt. If yes, does it only rebuild packages it knows about, or can it fetch packages from the main archive?
The OBS has the automatically rebuild the reserved dependencies by default, but usually you can disable that. In our practice, I do not like the rebuild all the reserved dependencies automatically, because that will slow down the development. So a lot of packages will be locked, then you cannot see the build status. So we disable that features on the OBS, and then we just do like something like a MNU, something similar way. We just go to the package page and then click on rebuild manually instead of automatically rebuild. And then it's because the DoD setup. So every time when the upstream repository has any update, so anytime that when he bootstrap chroot, you will get that is updated package directly from your DoD configuration on the upstream.
Great. Our next question, is build job and work assignment using a framework or implement from scratch?
The build job and work assignment, I think that is not implemented from scratch. I think there's an OBS build package is handling this, and then it has been already provided things from the upstream. And then since I joined Collabora, I saw that Collabora also submits some patches. And so we can specify the build engines to use a deep bootstrap instead of a chroot or tuple. So that is ensure that the packaging builds like a more suitable for Debian way.
Okay, the next question. Is it possible, Anne, or did you or any one of your guys try to trigger OBS builds from within GitHub Actions?
Yes, I think that we already have this kind of implementation on the Apatix project. And Apatix is also an open source project and then also based on Debian. So we have our not GitHub but GitLab, and GitLab has CI, and CI can trigger those kind of merges directly from Debian, and then see if it works. If it works, and then it will automatically submit the package into an OBS branch, and see if we can work builds right there. So it's automated a lot of routine jobs for us. So we only need to deal with the errors, like the merge failed, and they'll have to do that manually and then submit by the CI, and also check that if a package builds in OBS directly. If it's not, then we should fix the fail to build from source package manually.
Great. Our next question. How complicated would it be to set up your own test OBS server on Debian Buster locally? What resources will it take?
Yes, it's very complicated because that, as I mentioned in my last slide, the OBS packages currently is only available on Stretch because the Ruby front end is very, very difficult to maintain in Debian. I really need help hands. If you are Ruby expert, please contact me and then help me with this. So on the Buster, we do not have the available package.
Okay, the next one. What is the main challenge to configure OBS to provide builds against unstable experimental? I know that the public instances do not support those suites, and I wonder why.
This is a good question. I haven't tried that with the experimental. I tried it with unstable, and since that works, but on experimental, I noticed that we do not have the DoD, and also it doesn't work. I don't know. I also do not know why. And in our practice, I never tried that, so I really don't know why it fails and why it doesn't work.
Okay. The next question. Can this project configuration be stored in a Git repository along the sources?
You can also do that, and then also there's a command line. You can update the project configuration, and also you can also update the project meta page. You can use the OSC tool to import the command. So it is possible to store those kind of project configuration into the Git repository with some make file or something to update from there.
Perfect. Does OBS offer also to run some tests for the packages it is building? How to verify the packages are really working?
I haven't tried to do those kind of automatic tests while it's building, because that when we want to do the test, we want some packages installed in the actual distribution and run on actual hardware. So we hook with the Lava to do the test. So that's the way we verify if that works. But you know that I showed that OBS has a nice review functions. So normally that the QA can just fetch the binary package directly and then do the test manually, and if it's a very important package. So before that, you learn into the production server. But on the development product, that we just do the automatic test in the Lava instead of manual tests.
Great. The next question, can OBS be run within a Docker container?
Yes, and the new version of the OpenBuild service upstream already provides that the Docker files, so you can build that in the container. Yeah, and also I'm curious, is that possible that we can package that OBS API, the Ruby on Rails front end, inside the container. I really don't know. I also curious that there was a talk 2 days ago and talk about something built in the container. I need to watch the video.
Okay. Another question. Does it only do that for the RDEPs it knows about, or can it fetch from archive?
Can you say that question again?
Yeah. Does it only do that for the RDEPs it knows about, or can it fetch from archive? This is a question from IRC.
Ah, that's why I didn't read it. Let me check.
Yeah.
Can you pass the question into the Etherpad so I can read? Because
Yes, of course.
okay.
Okay, it is now in a red line.
Oh, you mean the art depends is reserve dependencies?
Yes, is a question next to the Docker container one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we have run out of time, so thanks a lot, Andrew, and let's keep answering the questions in the pad.
Okay, I'll keep answering
So,
that on Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your talk.
My pleasure. Thank you for listening.